So, Project 2025, the thing that we've talked about and talked about and about for, I would probably say, going on 8 months now, has finally become the number one search on Google, everybody.
Final.
Obviously, we need to thank Taraji P. Henson for really bringing it to the forefront of everybody's attention. But not only has it become the number one search, but our favorite felon is doing his favorite thing to do whenever he happens to be caught. Any time with his pants down, proverbially or physically. And that's to say that
Ew.
I don't know them and completely disassociate because that's what Roy Cohn taught him to do. Well, friends, the day has finally come. And, well, if everybody's laughing just as much as me, it's because this is why.
Mhm.
You're right.
Yes,
I didn't
that's
think about
right.
that.
Oh, I've never heard of Project 2025. It only has.
I think
Not,
Michael Steele's rebuttal to that was like priceless because it's like if you don't know anything about it, how do you know you oppose it?
I believe this was the tweet right here. Let's go
Yep,
ahead
that's it
and
right there.
here it is, gang. Take it in,
Yes.
soak it in all its glory.
Who here can do a Michael Steele voice?
I just know that
I
everybody that's
can, but
reading this right now is laughing just as hard
How
as
do you
we
know
are.
that you oppose it if you don't know what's in it? That's his inflection. That's not his actual tone.
Yeah, that is the inflection that he would use. The best part is how this tweet
Whoa.
completely disassembles Donald Trump's ability to walk away from Project 2025.
Does.
Joe Biden went out and killed at his rally tonight. The best part is, this is the thing that I have to say that I gotta really admire when it comes to Joe Biden and this whole.
Biden's cabinet or, admit the parts of the administration that he appoints in mass, like it seems like every day or at least every week, somebody important was resigning from Trump's campaign. So if after that debate performance, there's no mass resignation, I think, like, I think he's probably okay to govern.
yeah.
Don't you think somebody would have something to say by now? Like from the cabinet, I mean, know,
Don't you think they would report that he was acting strange and everything?
right? Like, I mean, it seems so like I don't know. On the Library of Democracy on the YouTube channel, I made a short clip about it was a clip of an MSNBC bit that was about Project 2025 that I thought made a really good point. And somebody commented like, "No thanks. I supported Joe in 2020, but I think I'm done with him because he's genocide Joe." Like, obviously I'm paraphrasing it. And I'm just like, okay, so what do you think is going to happen to Palestine if Trump is elected? Because you're throwing your vote away to Jill Stein. She's voting for Jill Stein.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, oh, the Putin puppet. So, like, what do you think is going to happen to Muslims when Trump's in
Trump
office?
said, finish the job.
Mm-hmm.
We know what's going to happen. Trump said to
His son-in-law said,
finish the job. Yeah.
because his son-in-law wants the beachfront property in Israel. So go ahead, throw your vote away. And I'm sorry, even if you're in a state that's solid or solid red, don't throw your vote away. Like, you know, because you don't know. That was the point. It just came back to me. Rick Wilson was talking to people in a focus group who said that they're going to vote for Biden, but they're never going to tell anybody, not even their husband, because they're like in deep MAGA country, and so if that one person that said that to him, how many other people do you think like that aren't filling out polls honestly, or even aren't even being polled? Yep. So I think everybody should calm the fuck down over the polls. It's like we forgot about the red wave of 2022. Like, what, and what is wrong with some of these media outlets? Like, you could have fooled me that CNN leans liberal. You could have fooled me that the New York Times leans liberal, because they seem pretty anti-Biden at this point in time.
It's amazing. One little, like, not one good performance, and it's like, why would anybody do that? In any history, have we ever gone, this guy didn't have a great debate, so let's throw him the fuck out, like, right before the election? I mean, how stupid is that? Do they not know how shit works? They don't know how shit works. Sorry.
I haven't forgotten the 2022 red wave. And since then, Democrats have outperformed the polls by 5 to 11 points. So if you're at it as if it's dead even, it's not. It's set to be a wipeout.
There were a couple of races, I don't remember where, but they were in deep red. They were like special elections, and they were flipped blue that were supposedly supposed to go red. So, I mean, I don't have any proof to this disclosure. I have nothing to back up except anecdotal evidence, but I firmly believe that we are going to be really shocked at not just the the popular vote, but I think we might flip a state or two that will be surprising. Because I think there's a lot of women, especially, who were like, fuck this shit.
Well, the more people read about Project 2025, the best part. This is I think where the House of Cards earlier said where it's tumbling, and that's because MAGA is learning about Project 2025, and they're learning that they want to ban porn, and those good Christian values will not allow that to happen.
Like I said earlier, they want to disband the ATF. They want to ban porn and contraceptives. They want to get rid of the Department of Education. So they want a bunch of armed, sex-starved, horny young men who are uneducated running around. That's going to turn out so good.
Doing mass deportations.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right, yeah.
Putting people in camps, that sort of thing.
And like, what I don't get is like, how do you think, like, so right, they want to ban recreational sex. Great, fine.
Yeah.
How do you plan on enforcing something like that? Like, so
they'll figure out a way.
You have to apply for a permit.
We're going to be like Spaceballs, and we're going to have one of those virgin alarms that just goes off when somebody, like, it's a little bit too, like, virgin. I'm programmed to go off before you do.
Illegal entry.
I think it's appropriate to mention the robot was played by Joan Rivers, who Trump said endorsed him, even though she died.
Yeah, even though she died.
Ironic, because Joan Rivers did the voice of that Dot, the robot that said,
yeah.
That's what I said, yeah. She's the one that played it.
But, like, the most amazing part is that there is so much evidence that links Project 2025 to Trump that he back away from it to the point where remember the MSNBC video with Michael Steele and Simone where he said they want to institute Trumpism?
Mm-hmm. Right on there. The dude that wrote it said it. Yep. But
But then he said we're non-partisan.
totally.
Ow.
It's just too good because either MAGA's going to have to completely gaslight themselves to the point where everybody who talks to them is like, you're a crazy person. Like, you're absolutely crazy. Like, you do not live in a first name basis with reality at all. Or
So
they're going to realize,
members.
or they're going to realize they've been duped.
Dude today that was at some church preaching like we should kill people, like, and he's a GOP person and he's a black person.
Yeah, it's Mark Robinson.
Oh,
that guy,
for North Carolina governor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hell, SOS.
With Trump disowning Project 2025, Kevin Roberts probably feels like Trump felt with his father, just being rejected by one person he wanted approval from, and it's just
that's gotta sting. Like when you've crafted not only your entire personality but also your entire, I would suppose, political platform that you were ready to implement so much that you were going on Steve Bannon's War Room and saying the quiet part out loud, that and now Trump doesn't want anything to do with you.
Dang.
Damn.
He went to jail for you.
yeah.
They can get you.
Two of his cabinet secretaries. Well, I don't know if he was actually in the cabinet, but no, 3 people in his administration wrote significant chunks of the, you have Ben Carson, you have Ken Cuccinelli, Peter Navarro, that dude that wants to fire everybody, Dan
Trump
something.
Yeah.
Well,
me that none of that has come up at all, like in conversations about what your administration's going to look like. You mean to tell me that you have no idea? If you have no idea what Project 2025 is, and you're a presidential candidate, you're a moron and have no business. Even running for the
cosplaying as like the Black Ted Cruz with his boots.
When Byron Donalds was doing that, it wasn't a.
And J.R. Ewing called and said, "We don't fucking dress like that anymore unless you're some old ass fucking person."
Didn't you say that you anybody that dresses like JR?
Yeah. Fucking J.R. Ewing.
Yeah, those cowboy boots are something else. So, since we had a good Biden speech, and he's completely come out, and he has pretty much put all of the rumors and stuff to bed that was floating around about him. And of course, he obviously addressed his age as well, which is something that I really dig, is when someone can just take ownership of something.
He was joking. I love it.
But now that we had a good speech tonight, damn good rally, there's a lot of forward momentum. Project 2025 is to the point where Trump is trying to disavow himself. Now, let's see how fast it takes for CNN, for MSNBC, and then all of the other left content creators who've been using bad predictions to get clicks. Now,
yep.
Let's see how fast they're riding with Biden.
Yep.
Hmm.
We've had it trending this morning.
Yeah.
I swear. These wishy-washy people.
I want to follow off something Skip said, because he said Biden took ownership. He took ownership of his age. He took ownership of the bad performance. It's like, that's what a leader does, because to have any control over a situation, you have to accept that you were responsible for it. Has Trump ever taken responsibility for anything in his
That's a
life?
good point.
Not just as president, in his entire life, 78 years.
No.
Never.
Now,
He
Roy
doesn't
Cohn
take
told him to not
responsibility
do
for
that.
stupid shit. Like,
No.
nevertheless, something major like a debacle.
Like a botched
debate
pandemic?
performance.
He blames everyone else.
Yeah.
Sharpie Gate.
Oh my God, yes. The Sharpie Gate.
Dumb as
that's
shit.
the silliest shit in the universe.
Crowd size at his inauguration immediately since Sean Spicer out. I was like, what the fuck? Nobody gives a shit how many people showed up to your inauguration, you dumb motherfucker, and you're already lying.
And then,
And now it's remembered in perpetuity because,
Yep.
like, he just couldn't let it go. Like, nobody would have thought anything about his crowd size if he didn't have that huge debacle. Like, that's the one thing about Trump. Like, things would just like disappear into the internet, but he can't let it go. So he he makes some outrageous like comment about, oh, my crowd size was larger than Obama's. Right? You mean to tell me the first black president's inauguration crowd size was smaller than yours? Another old white dude
My thing
rising
is,
to the presidency.
It's always about the crowd size. I'm like, so what? Just because you get people to come doesn't translate into votes.
Oh, he just can't let stuff go. Like today, Biden brought up the airports in the revolution or something like that. That Trump said. And
The best thing
one of
on
those
Twitter,
things,
by the way.
every time you bring that stuff up, it just drives Trump nuts, and he has to snap back and stuff like that. So they're doing the right thing. Is if they start punching back at Trump for all of his bullshit, he's gonna snap and
He's
say
gonna
something
implode.
even more stupid about it. Yes.
Yeah.
Keep
We
doing
need
it.
to see Dark Brandon as much as possible.
this whole rally was
Keep
Dark
going.
Brandon.
As much as possible.
The
Bring
Lincoln
the heat.
Project has a new commercial out, and a lot of times it's an audience of one with them. They only will air it, like they'll put it on YouTube for the public to see, but they'll pay to have it aired at Mar-a-Lago. I was going to call it Mar-a-Lardo, like Michael Cohen, at Mar-a-Lago. And this one, Trump is going to lose his mind over because it was Shark Week, but they said they pretended to be the Discovery Channel, and now it's like the
Project.
more fearsome creature of the sea. Battery.
Maybe
So
it
they
should
should
be
like a
called
couple of like double A's.
It's so good.
Marshall.
Like they're
They know how to make him go deranged. Like, I didn't know that Rick Wilson put out a tweet in 2020 or a video about how his campaign manager sucked, and like 3 days later Trump fired his campaign manager, and I was like, that's fantastic.
Marashardo. That's my new nickname for it.
I mean, the fact that Joe Biden comes out also and says, without straight up saying it, like, I have the authority of a king, but we don't have kings. Like, I really dug that. Like, the wrong person with that much power, that's a bad, bad, bad thing. And it was like the person who introduced him, I think it was the governor of Wisconsin, said he's a lot like Joe Biden. You know, they're not flashy, they're not braggy, they keep their heads down and they get the work done. And then he told everybody to Google Project 2025.
I do believe the phrase he used was getting shit done.
Yes, he did, in fact, to use the parlance of our times.
Yeah. He did.
Drop a few F-bombs, Democrats. It's all right. So
I mean,
our virgin ears will be able to withstand a few F-bombs every now and again.
Joe likes to say damn. I like it because it's old man word.
I like how Jasmine Crockett, right on the floor of the Congress, said, like, looks like documents in the shitter.
Yeah, I appreciated that.
Documents in the shitter and everywhere else.
Right next to the healthcare plan. Right?
Shitter's full.
Shitter is full.
Right next to the healthcare plan.
And infrastructure week.
Oh yeah, speaking of infrastructure, I mean, it's really something for Biden to be able to, and the governor when they're doing the rallies, to be able to list actual accomplishments, actual legislation, actual money that's brought in to actually benefit the American people, as opposed to promises that things are going to happen and they're going to be the best and the most glorious and the most tremendous, and then it never happening.
Well, it's currently 40,000 infrastructure projects underway across the US. 40,000 different projects.
Massive.
No state
Just
missed
come to
out.
Just come to the
That's
Metroplex.
helping our
You'll see all of
economy.
it.
That's stimulating our economy. It's exactly what it's doing.
A bunch of them are right by my house. They repaved one of the, I live off of a main artery that goes to the interstate. And like, it was so annoying, and I was like, oh, I get it. These are infrastructure projects. Cool. And now that they're done repaving or whatever, I was like, oh, it's so smooth. It's not like tonk, riding
with Biden. Oh, yeah.
Just like my lawn sign.
People need a refresher on what is actually infrastructure. Like, sometimes they think of it as just roads and bridges, but the entire infrastructure of how you get people from one place to another, goods from one place to another, and how you get communications from one place to another, power from one place to another, and resources from one place to another. That's all infrastructure. So educating them more about those things, I think, would maybe hit home to someone who was maybe involved in one of those sectors that was possibly benefiting from projects that are going on now.
Yeah.
From the
we have municipal broadband here, and that's why we are one of the hubs for technology in this part of the country.
Yeah, that's
because
one of the
they can come here, they can get a bad connection and do things.
Yeah,
that's one of the
worth
things.
A lot. That's a make or break factor for a lot of businesses as to where they're going to lay down.
Yeah, what I was saying is that's one of those things that the governor that introduced Biden said is that there was
the internet so they can do business.
That there was new Wi-Fi actually, coming, and there was actually already new Wi-Fi there. And there was a lot of people who never had high-speed internet, like in the crowd, who cheering their ass off for that too. I mean, that's another piece of infrastructure. I can't see. Can somebody go ahead and read out? I see that Vixen on Blue, our good friend, wrote something in the chat.
Vixen says exactly, a founding father reborn, kind of. A founding father for the moment in time when America rejected hate and fascism, with one voice and chose love, each other, the planet, and the future. Founding a new hope chapter in our history. All we have to do is the work of waking people up and getting them to the ballot box. Amen.
That's right.
Well said.
Well said,
done.
Dixon.
Well done.
Beautiful.
Because we are tired of the hate. I would really love for people just to be normal and bring back that sense of togetherness, and that, we have more in common than what more people think that we do.
Well, when people get paid copious amounts of money to create a division, not just within us, but also within reality, to where
Well,
when you
yeah.
can show somebody actual facts and they'll just laugh in your face because it does, they don't want to risk the narcissistic collapse of, the cognitive dissonance being broken. And unfortunately, it's been proven, I believe we've talked about this, where for 2 weeks, there's a Russian experiment. If you bombard somebody with fear and misinformation for 2 weeks, no matter how much you try to take them away from it, it's there. Unless you withdraw them completely from it, it's the only recommendation for, well, it's like narcissistic psychosis almost. Like narcissistic psychosis. It's the same thing that happened with like Jim Jones.
Yeah, most of these people are fear-based. They've made them fear everything, things that really, really not to fear. I mean, they have exaggerated trans. They've exaggerated all of these things for these culture wars, and it's a shame.
Well, I think Pete Buttigieg said it best.
Yeah, I mean, because people actually buy into this shit without even using their brain cells or, trying to go and find the real answer, instead of just listening to talking heads. Like, it's bothersome. They're putting these hate on people that they don't even know, and it's not like they're a major part of this population. And I'm sorry when you tell people or say that these people are groomers, and honey, you're going to get more groomed in the freaking church than you are by somebody that's, gay, trans, whatever it is.
I mean, we have a librarian in our midst here, and I'm sure
gay, you can't. It's not going to rub off on you.
Yeah, sorry, you can't catch the gay. We have a librarian here with us, and I know that you saw that sign in Idaho about people being able to check out books?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if they were saying that they couldn't enter the library if you're under 18, or if they can't go into a specific section. But I know Idaho has some crazy laws about use of their libraries. And the only reason why they're doing that, this is going to sound like a conspiracy theory. Obviously, I have no direct evidence. Just what it appears to me as an educator is they're trying to stupefy the country so that if this coup doesn't succeed, they stupefy the population a little bit more, and then maybe they'll try, when they try again next time, they'll succeed.
Making like a stew.
Yeah, it's like why in Texas they took out libraries, and
we have another librarian here who has the answer.
Okay, so what happened is their municipality ruled that children could not have access to a room with adult material in it. That particular library is too small for a separate children's space, so they made the difficult decision to remove all children's items altogether. It is now an adult-only library, terrible. And anyone under 18 has to be accompanied by an adult.
Well, there you have it.
It's so sad.
Yeah,
that's
and I see people who don't have kids in school anymore, and they're like, "Look, they don't need to have these." Talking about elementary school, they don't need to have these books, and I'm like, "What books are you talking about?"
There is only one book that I've seen that I think
you're saying
should
you don't want a book that might explain maybe why their friend has two dads or some shit. But I don't think they're trying to like indoctrinate your kids like this is how you should be. I think it's more of
they're enabling the actual predators.
Yeah.
Because while everybody's looking at little librarian over there, the coach or uncle or whoever is going to be the one, so that when a kid discloses and says uncle, coach, teacher, teacher, clergy. I mean like a sports type teacher, coach. Sorry.
Bible. They want to use Bible as a textbook, and I'm like, when you break that shit down, what are you going to say? A bunch of incest, and they're screwing each other and doing all kinds of fucking weird shit?
I know that when Mike Johnson says that everything that he governs is out of the Bible. Well, I mean, there are passages that very specifically encourage chattel slavery. So there's a lot of things in the Bible that if you literally take it, that if that's the way that you rule, that is not a constitutional republic.
Nope.
Does he think the earth is flat too? Because that's in the Bible.
It does not say in the Bible that women can't and shouldn't work. Actually, if you read Proverbs 31, which talks about what the ideal woman is, she actually sounds like a pretty cool bitch. Like, they talk about her selling her wares and making things and doing things, and like there's nothing in the Bible that says women can't or shouldn't work.
Yeah, I mean, and they want to go hard on the Old Testament. And I'm sorry, I thought, we're supposed to be New Testament people, and that shit is supposed to cancel half of that, all that crap out anyway.
Well, the Old Testament is the whole fire and brimstone, and that really excites them because that means they get to play with guns.
We don't, I mean, yeah, that's all well and fine, but Jesus taught.
That's woke. It's woke stuff. Don't you know that?
Forgiveness, patient, love thy neighbor, all that stuff.
Jesus was ultimate woke.
Yeah, I mean, they probably wouldn't like him in these days and times if he was around.
No, they call him a socialist.
They wouldn't like him.
They would cancel Jesus in a second.
And Jesus would be sad to what he has become.
I mean, feeding people, like his apostles tried to say we don't have enough food, and he's like, yeah, we do. And like that's like one of the base miracles of like the New Testament is the feeding of the 5,000, and like we're the wealthiest country in the world and we can't feed our kids at school. Like, come on, man.
No, we can.
Come on, man.
What am I supposed to
we can. They just refuse. Instead, what they do is make it so that you have to be able to teach. Make it mandatory to teach out of the Bible and put the 10 Commandments up on the wall in the 2 states that have the lowest educational scores. They can't feed those kids. It's I don't know. Maybe when kids are sitting there hungry, really being like, man, because I hate to say it, but there's some children who the only meal that they get is the school provided lunch.
Lunch at school.
Right, yep. Exactly. But at least they'll learn not to covet their neighbor's wife.
Yeah, they will.
Or like steal their oxen. Or
and a lot of those kids, also relied on that during summertime, and they've taken a lot of those programs away too, which really pisses me off because that might be the only place they can go get a meal.
I just don't know why they would want to openly put a list of Donald Trump's sins on the wall for all the children to see.
Right.
I mean, if school is not church, we're there to learn our academics. We're not there to learn about the Bible. You want to take your kids to your preferred religion? Go right ahead, but no.
I would be furious, and I'm one of the only Bible beaters in.
I mean,
well, not really Bible beater, but like I would be furious because I am very, like, I don't believe in combining church and state. I think that is where has that ever gone right in history? Name one theocratic government.
I don't think it's fair to
done well for itself.
Who may not be Christian to have to do all that bullshit, right? Like, I mean, this is so separate. We're just here to learn, be in a learning environment. We're not, back in my day, it was your responsibility as a family to take your children or whatever it was to whatever religious institution of your choice. And school was school.
Mm-hmm. They were not combined.
No. Yeah, there was some things that they did get away with because after I remember, every time we had a football game, even going through high school, that somebody always got on the loudspeaker and said a prayer.
Mm-hmm.
In my high school, we had religious clubs.
I think you're muted, Skip.
We had religious clubs as well, and
But
I
they
was,
were-
super liberal Southern California. And
They have do they have some kind of religion? I mean, but it's kind of done like,
No, it was pretty open. It was just like if you allow one, you have to allow all.
Yeah.
So we had a Christian club, but we also had a Muslim club. We had a Jewish club. We had
and I think that's
we had a
great.
Sikh club.
If people are trying to connect, and sometimes it's good for people to go and join these clubs that may not even be their religion, but they're going to learn something.
Yeah, and like what I thought was really cool too is like it wasn't I didn't belong to any of them, but like I did go to one Christian one because my friend at the time asked me to go, and it wasn't super weird. Like it wasn't super creepy or anything. It was just kind of like but that was also like think about it, it was 20 God. It was only in high school that we have those clubs, and so I graduated in '99. So, do the math or whatever. But like, it wasn't a big deal. Like, it was just if you allow one, you allow all. And I mean, it was so diverse in my area that like, if some random religion you never heard of wanted to start a club, I mean, it would have really been a big deal because like. Everybody, if you were gonna be a bigot in my high school, like it was a very lonely life for you because somebody was always something. And if you only liked white people, they were either Catholic or Jewish. 99% of the time.
If you invert that entirely, that's how I grew up.
I mean, there was a lot of people that were not Christian where I was growing up, which there's 15 different denominations, but not really. But my church that I grew up in made a point to take us to like a synagogue and to a different, so we could experience, other religions, which was great because I think it's great when people are exposed to other, that's just part of learning and understanding.
Yeah, I've always been a lifelong learner.
Me too. I mean, I love different cultures and different religions and to learn about that because the more you know, man. I mean,
That's all the fish for bells on.
They don't want more. They want old.
They do. They don't want to understand anything else. I don't understand. Everybody else gives Christians grace. Whoever I talk to, they always speak but yet when we talk about other religions, it seems like that, we're always such assholes about it. But everybody else will show us grace.
Well, I mean,
B. Bridges says in the chat they want to return to the Old Testament and original Constitution in preparation for the rapture. That's all they think about.
So why don't they do it? Like, just make your own school. What happened to homeschooling your kids? Like, why is this all in public school now? It used to be that you homeschooled your kids so you could, like, Bible beat them to death.
Yeah.
It's like,
because they want to press it on everybody else. Because Louisiana went red.
And like, what was that other thing that? Oh yeah, the whole school voucher bullshit. Like, you're rich, you can afford private school. Why are you trying to get a voucher from the kids that rely on public school? Like, what's wrong with these people?
Public school
I can answer that.
Going to somebody going to church school. No, you know what? I got a freaking public school education. I turned out just damn fine, and so do my kids. And I ain't paying for you to go to public school.
Great.
I went to high school with kids that were in religious, like Catholic schools in elementary and middle school, and then they went to a regular high school, and they're just fine. They're not crazy. Yeah. I'm like, what?
I can tell you why the vouchers are important to them. It's not about funding the private schools. It's about defunding the public school.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Andrew,
I don't know why that just didn't dawn on me. Wow, that's right.
Schools do not take special education kids. They're not going to take anybody that doesn't have probably the good scores. All of these kids are going to be left behind.
It's in the same way that the Supreme Court did the whole, we're going to ensure that any sort of opportunity programs that might level out the playing field as far as like any kind of diversity, equity, inclusion goes. Like I want to hear them do the same with legacy schools. And let's do affirmative action for legacy schools, shall we?
Yeah.
And then, you know what? Like, the Supreme Court, like, might end up, like, kicking themselves for? Like, not anytime soon, but when the court... Because I refuse to believe we elect Trump. I'm sorry. I just refuse to believe that that's going to happen. And you UK folks, God, you gave me some hope. Like, but anyway... Yeah.
I thought what you were getting at, Alison, was that they're now spreading the education budget across all the students, and those who are going to private schools now get to allocate their portion of the budget towards private schools.
Boise Bridges says they believe that the public education is the #1 indoctrination tool for the left. That's why maybe they want to.
Is it because
education.
We use facts?
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Probably because facts.
You can educate them with things other than religion.
You want to hear something? My old school, well, it's still there, but this K-12 district I went to, how much MAGA's heads would explode. So, like, when I was a kid, we always got Jewish holidays off, too, because, there was such a large Jewish population. So we always got, like, Rosh Hashanah off, Yom Kippur, spring break usually aligned with Passover, so the Jewish kids could have that Passover week off. But now I heard that now the Muslim students get a few days off for their holidays too, because there was always a large Muslim population, but now it's like, it competes with how large the Jewish population is. So they would like lose their freaking minds over that.
That makes me laugh because MAGA is the kind of people who would bitch about having a day off just because somebody else is getting a day off to celebrate their religion, even though they could do whatever they wanted to on that day off. It's like that interview. Did you see that Kevin McCarthy did where he was like, yeah, and Biden, every time he brings somebody into his office, he brings them cookies. It's so embarrassing. A, you're getting served cookies by the President of the United States. B,
yeah, that's humbling.
He gave me delicious treats. What an asshole. What?
That was the worst take. Like,
give me the cookie. I bet they're delicious.
Better than McDonald's.
Like, is there anything they won't bitch about? The President of the United States gave me delicious treats.
The President of the United States. He gave you a cookie.
Give me a cookie. I'm taking the fucking cookie.
I'm taking the fucking cookie. I'll probably ask for another.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd eat it. I might just put it in a napkin and take it and be like, yeah, this was given to me by you don't believe it. See, this is me and Biden and the cookie. Like, see, like,
here's me holding the cookie.
Dude, ice cream.
You never know. You might have one of those magic warming drawers, like the hotels.
If Joe wants to invite me to the White House, I will make him homemade ice cream.
Look, Biden's not giving me any gold sneakers, so I have to take what I can get, okay?
God. You want to talk about embarrassing those gold Congress people wearing them gold sneakers?
Mr. Stolen Valor.
Pathetic. These people are pathetic.
Have you seen any black Congress people wearing any of them shoes?
I just know that every time that you put those on, something in your brain has to be like, you're in a cult. And then your brain has to go, no, I'm not. That has to happen every single time you put on those stupid ass gold shoes.
But that happened before you even pressed buy. That had happened in your brain. The switch has already flipped. Like you've actually gone to the page with the intent of buying, and then you go, oh, now I just need to pick my size. Oh, look, size derp. Why?
Yeah, you get a notification from your credit card. It's just like, cult purchase made. Is this you?
Is derp the opposite of drip?
Ugly as fucking shoes. ever.
Like, it's just like when you're putting it on, there's just this thing that's you have to say it in your head, like, nah, I'm not in a cult. It's like you lace up your stupid gold shoes with a T on them. Like,
they look for other people.
Dude, what is it with
cult members so they can reinforce not being in a cult?
Actually, what is it with cults and footwear? Like, do you remember Heaven's Gate with the whole Nike thing? Do you remember the Saturday Night Live commercial that came up afterwards, where it showed all the
running shoes for when they get off the shit?
It just showed like all of these like legs sticking out with like Nikes on them, and then at the end all it said was "Keds, the choice of the sensible Christian."
Well,
God, I'm sure
they're gonna have their Heaven's Gate moment. It's coming. Heaven the Gates moment coming.
We keep asking
where they got where they were going. They needed to make sure they could show everybody how fast they could run in their new Nikes.
Right.
With the pumped up kicks.
Yeah, are those
Insurrection ones?
Sneakers like a brand, or is it just a generic shoe that Trump had?
It is a generic like
piece of shit. Yeah, generic. Emu fucking.
It is yet another Chinese knockoff, just generic shoe that they're just slapping on a T on there.
Temu terrorists.
Because I can't imagine any shoe company like signing off on that one. Like, could you imagine?
You guys remember Ivanka getting certain trademarks in China? What do you think happened with those trademarks?
Shoe trademarks now.
Well, in case you haven't noticed, all of the Trump merchandise does come from China. It is not made in America. So I wonder if that has anything to do with it. It reminds me of the Always Sunny episode.
The shoes were supposedly manufactured in an empty strip mall in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Sure.
That was the address. That was the address on it.
What, do y'all have a sweatshop there that we should investigate?
I
thought about going down and having a look, but yeah.
I doubt there's even a desk or a phone in there.
It'll be right next to Four Seasons Landscaping.
All the networks. Hey, speaking of that, Mr. All the Networks, I really think that it's important that everybody needs to go back and revisit Rudy Giuliani at that, where he is openly claiming that, all the networks claiming about all the election fraud coming out, all the networks, that is a wonderful example of them just lying in your fucking face, because he's been disbarred. He has been found liable for defamation.
Can I just give a shout out to the American Bar Association, because they are the one institution in this country that has held MAGA accountable. Like most of those lawyers are disbarred or significantly sanctioned, I guess, where they have to pay fines because they were shitty.
Even Carrie Lake.
Way to go, Bar Association.
They canceled them fucking selves.
MAGA now stands for Make Attorneys Get Attorneys.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. My ass got arrested.
What did that one guy say in the hearing? He's like, you guys better give me a defense attorney. I can't remember his name, but
Burns.
How we doing out there in the chat, Tony?
There's been so many.
Hey guys, the Twitch chat is going just fine. They're in and out. Vixen was here, Theron's here, Claudia's here, Mellow Trucker's been hanging out.
Keeps making me laugh.
Yeah, he's up in there. B Bridges is here. Metal is Truth is here, and our buddy Ratchet just showed up too. Ratchet,
shout out to the Ratchet.
If you guys have any questions, please put it in the chat. And if you're watching this later, leave a comment. We will come back and check them out.
We would make a great Team America.
I just cannot.
Says he's eating the fucking cookie.
I'm eating the fucking cookie too. I'm not ashamed. I'd probably ask him, where's the fucking vanilla ice cream too? It goes great with cookies. No, I'm not asking that. But
I would
I'll
just be
leave the
like,
cookie.
sure. Like, it's not every day that the president offers me a cookie.
Jesus washed the feet of like his like disciples.
They're fucking Nazis.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Maybe
He washed the feet, but feet of the prostitute too.
Sweet cookies. Could I have an adult cookie, please? Thanks.
We'll never forget that the Nazis had Gott mit uns, which means God is with us, on their belt buckles. So let's not forget that right as Saddam Hussein was being sentenced to death in court, the one thing that he kept yelling is, God is with me. So there seems to be this thing that, like I said, there's two kinds of Christians. There's the love thy neighbor Christian, and there's the Bible in one hand, a machine gun in the other type.
Yep.
A lot more of the second type at the moment.
Well, the first type need to stand up and start pointing out those people and shaming them in public and getting away from them. And
I'm seeing more and more do that. Like,
yeah,
I think the whole deifying Trump really did a number on a lot of the pastors, because it's like, whoa, this is the bridge too far.
But it took too long to get to that point.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You've had
golden idol.
It would have been great to hear this like 6 years ago, but
The church was grifting off of Trump too. With all that fire and brimstone, people were showing up and people were putting money in the coffers.
Yeah, there still are.
They had Trump crack too. They still are. It's Trump crack.
Some of them are. Not all of them.
The blood of Christ is going to save me. Remembering COVID, I'm like,
well,
listen.
I mean,
You took that literally? I mean,
the best part
God
is,
also gave us discernment.
yeah, I'm like, I don't think the blood of Christ was going to save you from COVID.
Just saying.
Okay.
He gave us free will too, and then drowned a whole bunch of people.
well, really the best part about I can say that
But that's in a lot of faiths story. It's actually one of the only common link of a lot of books of faith is the Great Flood. Even Native Americans talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
So they'll go to church and eat the cookies there, but they don't want to go to the Oval Office and eat Biden's cookies?
Those cookies, church cookies suck.
Yeah, those aren't the same. That's your vacation Bible school.
Joe's cookie.
And you always knew which vacation
cookies
Bible
would be
school
way
served the
better.
best cookies and freaking Kool-Aid. Shit.
We
I
called
had
them
them
Christ
all.
cookies, man. They were Christ cookies.
price checks.
Christ cookies.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're flavorless and taste like styrofoam.
Yeah, the
That
sounds about
freaking
right.
wine was like so strong you'd want to barf.
Dude, my church would just serve regular. They would like the real bread, the real bread, and we just pick it. Shit.
Oh no, we had these little wafers, and then you had wine that was
The communion
strong.
bread. Yeah.
Yeah.
the preacher's trashed by the end of the service.
Yeah, he would take a sip between everybody. Oh yeah.
That's
He got
not
a sip after
sorcery or
everyone.
anything. We're gonna turn this food into blood.
Us kids waited until we couldn't wait till the church service was over so we could get to the rest of the bread the fast.
I can do like I.
I don't know. I think we're in a good position if we keep pushing the agenda of 2025 and
Oh, the wind is
Biden
certainly
keeps
at our
talking
back.
well, and we keep doing content and doing what we do well.
Well,
Just repeatedly push what Trump just lied about today. I know nothing
Yeah,
yet.
that's gonna
He's
be
talked to
big.
everybody there.
The hardest part was getting it to this point.
Conventions have been Project 2025 related, and he goes, "I don't know what it was," but every other person there was talking about Project 2025 stuff.
The hardest part has been getting it
You're
to
muted,
this
Skip.
point. And how am I muted? It
We know Heron's a Ewan.
Yeah, you're muted. You're like, what the fuck? You're like, talking.
Yeah.
We know here.
Your mic keeps dropping today, Skip.
Oh yeah.
Anything in the
So, and
chat, Tony?
Metal of Truth says, yeah, they haven't taken Trump out yet.
And church.
Oh, Theron, yes, Hydrox. If you don't know what Hydrox are.
Oh, yeah, I know what those are. The original Oreos? Yeah.
The original Oreos.
Yep, they're good.
So, and Terp, you said it in the chat, and I agree. Release the Epstein files unredacted.
That's right. Have you noticed that the mainstream media has not picked up the Epstein files?
Case.
Mm-hmm. There, you're back, Skid.
I don't give a shit who's on there. Release it.
Isn't there information from the Maxwell woman as well that they now have possession of?
Release that news.
All that case that she was prosecuted on, that's evidence that has been released.
Biden can do it.
Federal case.
Yep, Biden can do it as an official action.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Ooh, that's a federal case.
For my first trick.
Damn, for my first trick. That's a federal case.
Yeah.
For my first trick. Here you go, buddy. I just released it. You're welcome.
Your orange guard.
His name's gonna be all over that fucking list.
Oh yeah.
For years, MAGA has screamed to release the Epstein
list?
files.
Fucking Joe Biden.
Finally, the Epstein files are
Joe
released.
Biden is not going to be on that list.
And MAGA doesn't even acknowledge it. It goes from release the Epstein files to Joe Biden's old.
There's a shit ton of people on that list that are all the political affiliations. So I don't give a shit.
Good. They all need to get in trouble.
Yeah, they do.
Democrat or Republican. I don't care who the fuck you are. You all need to get in trouble. You are now the example.
Absolutely. Quit protecting these motherfuckers.
The Maxwell case,
and that's where you're gonna find. You're gonna find Pizzagate right there. That's your Pizzagate that they always Democrats, because everything's fucking projection. Everything's projection with them.
Yep. Yeah, it's Pizzagate, but
that's
Here you go. Here you go, public.
Pizzagate was projection, and it was.
Yeah, it just needs to be said out there over and over again in the strongest terms possible that Donald Trump is a child rapist.
Yeah, I mean, the evidence. The scariest part about the whole Pizzagate QAnon thing is even if it is a Russian psyop that was meant to prime everybody's brain, that would be a Trump supporter to completely reject the evidence of their eyes and ears. All of the story came from somewhere, and that's the terrifying part.
I'm really glad that that girl that got too afraid to talk about or press charges against Trump. Yes, thank you. I'm really glad that she is coming forward, for her to get some closure and hopefully some justice, although the Supreme Court might grant him immunity from that too, you fucking freaks.
No, that
Cheeto
happened before.
fuck nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
Any of this happened before 2016. He's not immune from any of that.
He's not immune now because he's not fucking president. So I don't even know
doing a class action
why they
lawsuit
did that.
against all machines.
Yeah, but documents case, he wasn't president.
The immunity?
He's not charged with he's not charged for possession. He's charged with obstruction.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And willful retention, which
and
means,
that's
yeah. The immunity doesn't get him out of the documents case. All it does is make it very hard for some of the key witnesses and their testimonies to be used against him in the DC case. Sorry, the DC case.
How is stealing documents an official act when you're supposed to turn them over to the archives? Explain
Even
that.
if you try as an official act by not returning them upon request of NARA, that's
there you
an
go.
unofficial
There's
act.
there's the crime there.
Oh, I remember that point.
There's another crime.
What's your point?
There's the.
I remember it now. It was eventually the court will swing back to us. And what this Supreme Court has done is set the precedent for overturning precedent. So this can be overturned. I mean, it'll take a really long time, but that's what they've done. They're overplaying their hand. They're setting precedent. Maybe that's the point, to stir chaos, but like I hope the Dems don't get like back down from, precedent, used to be so important with the court.
Mm-hmm.
But now that there's precedent to overturn just because, I'm confident any cases brought to overturn some of this would be ground, hopefully, but
like overturning Citizens United.
so that's the one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the mechanism to do that is going to be the 2/3 of the House and Senate, and that's hard to get, and the executive branch all to agree to overturn what they're doing.
Actually,
so we need
no.
to vote blue. You got to vote blue all the way down the ballot, guys. All the way down the ballot.
Oh,
not just this
the way down.
Cycle.
Yep.
Come on, we can do this, guys.
It's going to take years.
We got this. We wind at our back.
Fighting.
The hashtag has caught fire, and the best part about it is it can't be retracted. As much as Trump tries, he cannot back away from it. The hashtag isn't going anywhere, and everybody's learning about Project 2025. And with that being said, thank you everybody so much for joining us tonight for episode 15 of Bar of DeMOCKracy.
A wonderful weekend. Thanks for joining us.
Bye, friends.
As always, if you do give a good goddamn about your democracy, make sure you listen to the Tony Michaels podcast every single day. And we will see you crazy kids later.
Bye, friends.
Bye.
Go democracy.